Have you ever stepped into an elevator and thought, wow? Well, most of us don't. They just want the doors to close. But I am here with someone who bills himself as America's original elevator enthusiast. He rides them for joy. He even built a museum of elevator parts. And honestly, it's amazing. He's amazing. I'm so thrilled he's here. He gives elevate tours, tours of elevators. See what he did there? Somewhere in Virginia, somewhere in a storage locker facility. And I'll stop talking about him and let's talk to him. He's known online as Diesel Ducey. You can also find him at elevatorfan.com. And his name is Andrew Reams. Andrew, it is such a joy to have you on the show.
It is a pleasure to be here. Like you said, my name is Andrew Reams. I'm an adult with autism, and ever since I was a little kid, I've absolutely loved elevators.
Why the obsession? Most people step into them and they're just kind of looking at their watches, hoping they'll get to the next floor. Why are they such a magical, ride for you?
Most people only think of an elevator one or two times. When the elevator's broken and they're either trapped in it or they have to walk the steps. Like I said, I'm an adult with autism, and one of the traits of autism is a fixation on things. Well, mine happens to be elevators.
Okay, so let's talk about this fixation. Is it the buttons? Is it the movement? Is it the mechanism on the top of the building in that room that nobody ever sees? Or is it just all of it?
You actually hit all of it. Like as an adult with autism, an elevator is a multi-sensory experience. And that's why a lot of people with autism like stuff like that, because it's a multi-sensory experience. And it's also one that in theory you have control over by, like, you press the button and the elevator responds to what you do. So it's not only a multi-sensory experience with sight, sounds, and movement, but it's one that someone feels like they have control over. And like with me, growing up, I had a lot of problems and I didn't have control over my life. And I felt the elevator was one place I felt safe and like I had total control over. So it's the fact that it's a multi-sensory experience.
So it's the tactile touching of the buttons, the lighting of the buttons, the feeling of the motion, the doors
The
closing,
sounds.
all of it. Yeah, the sounds. Now, what you have done, you've taken this childhood fixation, fascination, and you've turned it into a hobby where you've filmed and cataloged and researched and educated about elevators online in videos. I mean, you've been doing it even before YouTube existed. And your videos, like hundreds of thousands of people follow you. They love your videos. In some sense, to me at least, it seems like you invented a new hobby. Were there other people before you?
No, I basically started this genre, and how I did, I've always loved taking pictures, and a good friend of mine told me about YouTube. So I signed up for it and forgot about it. I'm a train driver for Norfolk Southern, and the training facility, okay, back to 1993. Ever since 1988, it had been my dream to go to the Marriott Marquis in Atlanta, Georgia, and videotape the elevators. In 1993, that became a reality. And then I signed up for this YouTube thing, and I was in training in Atlanta, and I'm like, I'm going to go film the 1993 elevators and put them up on that YouTube and share them with my friends. So I filmed the elevator in the Marriott Marquis, put it up on YouTube, and forgot about it. About 6 months later, my email box starts blowing up with emails from this YouTube thing, and I thought it was like spam. It said, new comment on your video, new comment on your video, new subscriber, new subscriber. So I hadn't been on YouTube so long, I actually had to recover my YouTube password to get on there. And I log into this account and go look at these videos I shot of 2 elevators in Atlanta, and they had hundreds of views, and my eyes about popped out of my head, and I said, in a clean version, who's watching this stuff? I thought I was the only one obsessed with elevators, and I used to be very closeted about it. I was afraid to tell my friends about it because I thought it was weird. Well, anyway, these comments are like, film more elevators, film more elevators. So I went and filmed a bunch of the elevators in Roanoke, and I thought people only want to see glass elevators. And I said, there are no more glass elevators in Roanoke. And one of the comments was, we don't care. We just want to see any elevator. And then YouTube had these related videos, and I found a video from someone who I'm good friends with now. His name is Connor. He filmed the same elevator I did. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of people interested in this. And at that point, I got to the point where I was no longer ashamed of my hobby because I used to get made fun of it. I was bullied in school over it. And I was really quiet about my love for elevators, and taking to YouTube made it to where, hey, I'm no longer ashamed of this.
Well, look, I'm sure there is a great community online of people who love elevators, but when I watch your videos, and I have, and I love them, it's not so much that I love elevators, Andrew, it's that your enthusiasm for them is almost infectious. It's like your joy and your interest and your knowledge as you educate us in these videos is so fun to watch. Like, I watch videos about quantum mechanics. I don't understand physics, but I like what these educators have to say. And that's how I view what you do. And I think that's why people are so struck by your videos. It's your enthusiasm for elevators. It's almost infectious.
Well, I'm just me, and I'm just sharing something I love. I was in a retirement home today, as a matter of fact, right before I called you, because someone invited me to see the elevator there, and the director said she'd never seen anyone get so excited over something that most people just take for granted, and she's like, "I'll never look at my elevator the same way."
Let's talk about the Museum of Elevator Parts, something that you run, you own. It's inside a storage locker facility, which is so funny to me because you just go in and it's just those like shuttered, metal doors, and then it opens and it's this amazing space. Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, basically, another thing, ever since I was a little kid, I also wanted elevator buttons, which, as you can see, I finally have some. I have a lot of them, actually. Well, anyway, let's go back to 1997 when I was at Murray State University. Over elevator company was modernizing one of the elevators there, and I skipped class to hang out with the elevator technicians. Well, anyway, they were pulling the old buttons out, and I'm like, "What are you going to do with those?" "We're throwing them away." I said, "Can I have them?" And they're like, "Sure." So Dover Elevators in 1997 gave me my first elevator part. And I bought another Otis touch button off eBay, and I was still kind of new on YouTube, and I made a video of these buttons, and people were fascinated by it. Well, anyway, I got more and more elevator buttons, and I'm also very well known in the elevator industry and the autism community. So some of these elevator companies would start sending me these buttons, and my YouTube audience took a huge interest in my collection of elevator parts, which has grown to over 1,000 pieces now. Well, anyway, I felt invasive hosting something like this in my home, and obviously I don't make any money. I make money off the YouTube. I don't make any money off the elevator museum. So I wanted to move it into a neutral place, and I went into the place I'm hosting it called a Friendly Storage, asking to ride the elevator. And I told him what I did. He says, "Bring your elevator museum down here. I would love to help you host it." He's let me tap into the power. So basically, what turned into just me collecting elevator parts has now turned into not just me collecting them. I want to preserve this history and share it with others.
Is it hard getting the parts, or do these companies that get rid of old
At
elevators that
this
to you are
point,
amazing, they just throw them away basically?
originally I'd buy them on eBay and stuff, but at this point I have so many connections in the elevator industry. If I'm looking for a piece, I can just message my contacts and say, "Hey, next one of these you pull, save it for me."
Now, you say your mission is elevating autism, which I love because it's got that elevator
Elevating
pun in there.
autism one lift at a time.
If a parent is listening right now with a child that has a very specific fascination, maybe it's elevators, maybe it's trains. If it were me, it might be microphones. What would you say to that parent to help the kid, I don't know, embrace the passion instead of shutting it down?
Never. As a parent, the absolute worst thing you can do is shame your kid. You may not understand it, you may not agree with it, but as long as it's a healthy thing, support it. However, one thing I must say, there's a big difference between a passion and an obsession. An obsession is very unhealthy. An obsession controls you. That needs to be moderated. A passion is when you love something. Yeah, okay. A passion is healthy, and an obsession is not. You need to make sure that your child's passion does not become an obsession.
Now, if aliens came to Earth and it turns out they worshipped elevators as much as you do, and you had to recommend one ride to them to show off humanity's best, which elevator would it be?
The Dover elevator, the Market Parking Garage. No, just kidding. That is a cool elevator, but honestly, the elevator down at the elevator museum that actually takes visitors up is an old 1947 freight elevator. That one is pretty cool.
All right. Well, you can check out Andrew Ream's videos at Diesel Doocy on YouTube. You can also check him out at elevatorfan.com. Andrew, this chat has been amazing. Thank you for sharing your enthusiasm about elevators with me.
Hey, thank you so much for believing in my mission. And the last thing I want to say before this is over is just because you have autism or any condition, I don't like to use the word disability. Just because you're you doesn't mean you can't lead a happy and productive life. You're beautiful just the way you are.
Nice message. Thanks again, Andrew.